Next, I'm going to explain about uses and gratification theory. Uses and gratification theory proposes that people to choose consume certain kinds of media because they expect to obtain specific gratifications as a result of those selections. It explains how people use the media for their own need and get satisfied when their needs are fulfilled. In other words, it can be said that the theory argues what people do with media rather than what media does to people. Also, this theory is in contradiction to the magic bullet theory, which states that the audience is passive. This theory has a user or audience centered approach. Even for communication, say interpersonal people refer to the media for the topic to discuss among themselves. By referring the media, they gain more knowledge and exposure to the world beyond their limited eyesight. Per Blomer and Cates, user of media has a long need in doing so that could be a use or a gratification. That is, audience choose and use a media for the following four media purposes or uses and gratifications: diversion or entertainment, to get away from everyday problems and routine; personal relationships, as a substitute for real emotional and interpersonal interaction; personal identity, association with characters in text and TV programs, and they also learn behaviors and values from media; surveillance, to satisfy their need for information.
Introduction Part to Theory. Uses and gratifications theory first evolved by Elihu Katz and J. Plumler in 1970s. According to Katz, Plumler, and Rubich 1973, the social and psychological origins of needs which generate expectation of the mass media and other sources, which lead to differential patterns of media exposure or engagement in other activities resulting in needs gratifications and other consequences, perhaps mostly unintended one. Gratifications in simple terms are about rewards or satisfactions obtained by the individual, and individuals use media for a diversity of purposes and reasons based on one's circumstances. People tend to use and spending more time using the media that can give them an effect, or that can be lead to satisfaction. Users are capable to subscribe some of TV channel, as we know that Astro is the most biggest agency in television, while Netflix is the most popular application in this world. And we users are willing to spend money for this kind of media just to get our favorite TV shows and watch movies. And this is what we call uses and gratifications theory. Uses and gratifications theory are about when media give you an effect that can be lead to satisfaction. The media itself does not look for people. Instead, the people, we as the audience, we filter through the types of media to fulfill our needs. I also have 5 needs that have been highlighted by Plumler and Katz, which is cognitive needs, affective needs, personal integrative needs, social integrative needs, and tension-free needs. These 5 needs have been highlighted by Plumler and Katz that explaining how the audience use the media based on the personal motives. As a result, uses and gratification theory is a communication theory that focuses on how people and how audience fulfill their needs with the media.
Next, history of uses and gratification theory. The uses and gratification theory initially put out by Lazarsfeld in 1940s and Stanston in 1944, which aims to clarify the motivations behind people's usage of mass media as well as the many forms of pleasures they obtain from it. Basically, gratifications are rewards or satisfactions that a person receives. The idea was developed in 1970s in opposition to earlier mass communication studies that placed more emphasis on the sender and the message. The uses and gratification theory emphasizes an engaged audience and what people do with the media rather than the impact that media has on the individuals. As authors of the uses of mass media communications, which known as Current Perspectives on Gratification research by Katz and J.G. Blumber, had a significant impact on the study of media uses and gratifications in 1974. In fact, according to communication scholar Ruggiero, the rise of new media has increased the importance of the uses and gratification theory since it helps to explain why individuals choose new channels. Usage of gratification theory is still one of the most often utilized theories in research of media effects today.
Elements of uses and gratification theory are divided into 5. First is cognitive needs. People use media for acquiring knowledge, information, and facts. Among the audience, some have the choice to acquire intellectual and academic knowledge. For example, quiz programs on the television give a factual knowledge. Other than that, to know about the current affairs, people need to watch news regularly. Secondly is affective needs. Affective needs all kind of emotion, pleasure, and mood of the people. Mostly, we use media such as television to satisfy our emotional needs. For example, we as a people easily get emotional or sometimes even cry for a sad scene while watching the movie, dramas, or soap opera. Thirdly, personal integrative needs. This is a self-esteem need. People use media to reassure their status, gain credibility, and stabilize. People watch television and ensure themselves they have a respectable status in the society. For example, people watch advertisements in the media like jewelry ads, furniture ads, or apparel ads, etc. and buy these products so that they can change their lifestyle. Hence, the media help them to do so. Fourthly, social integrative needs. Integrative needs encompass the need of socialize with the family, friends, and relations in the society. For example, social interaction. Nowadays, people do not seem to gather socially during weekends. Instead, they have a turn to a social networking site on the internet such as Facebook, Twitter, etc. to satisfy our needs. We started watching a particular program not because they have any self-interest, but because their neighbor or friends are watching it, such as that both parties may have something in common to discuss. Fifth is tension-free needs. People sometimes use the media as a means to escape from the real world and to relieve them from tension and stress. For example, we as a people tend to relax while watching television, listening to radio, surfing the internet, etc. In fact, media has the power to grab audience minds since it makes them feel connected with the situation and the characters emotionally.
Uses and gratifications characterize people as active and motivated in selecting the media they choose to use. Uses and gratification theory plays a vital role in an organization. Social media influence is a marketing term that describes an organization's ability to affect other people's thinking of the virtual community. Medias are only online applications that always allows people to communicate and share their life stories from all over the world wherever they are. Social media only continues to grow as a form of communication and entertainment, meaning social platforms get more stronger as their memberships increases. It impacts by increasing the number of social contacts of groups and individuals. It helps to produce the jobs associated with social media networks and consulting. Social media can influence the attitude behaviors of people. The influence impacts all the areas of people's life, including personal, politics, and consumer aspects.
Emphasis on individual differences in uses and gratification has led to study of how personality influences people's motivation to use media. For example, watching videos and listening to music of your own choices. Uses and gratification from the individual parts focuses on deterministic because media can be used in different ways for different purposes. This story is closely to human physiology about needs, motives, and influences. Likewise, the internet and mobile phones have become media sources to try to meet not only mass communication need but also interpersonal such as interaction and emotional involvement. Usually for individuals, mobile phones, internet, social networking sites, and others are new communication tools that are used for uses and gratification theory. Percentage of 80% can be quarantined, which is mostly concentrated. Most individual satisfaction is drama, funny videos, motivation, emotional, and such as Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, and YouTube are also an example of social media that use people, individual, group, or organization adapt to and derive satisfaction from.
The users and gratification theory has its usefulness to the group. Its use can be found through many platforms such as social media. For example, nowadays we have many famous apps like WhatsApp, Facebook, and Telegram. All of these are very useful for the users, which can create a group of people to make it easier for participants. In another app such as Spotify, it can contain a content like forum. Forum could be joined by all people, which can consist a group that can make a discussion with a panel, and they also could hear the voices of it. Besides, there are many online games that can be played by a group of friends, such as Mobile Legends, PUBG, Clash of Clans, and PES. A person can invite anyone they want to play together. Then, based on tension-free needs element, a group of family can watch a movie together while relaxing after a busy day with each other works.
Conclusion. Use and gratifications, the theory discusses the influence of media on people. It explains how people use media to meet their own needs and feel fulfilled when their needs are met. In other words, the theory argues for what people do to media rather than what media does to people. Most people nowadays watch reality shows on televisions not only because they are popular, but also because they are more realistic, interesting, and entertaining. The use and gratification theory does not take into consideration the power of media. It is a more audience-oriented study. A positive point of the use and gratification theory is that it focuses attention on individuals in the mass communication process. It mainly focuses on people's selectivity toward media contents rather than its unintended effect on their minds. According to the research of this theory, the results are subjective rather than objective. While use and gratification remain a popular theory in media research, it faces a number of criticisms. For example, the theory downplays the importance of media as a result. It may overlook the way media influence people, especially unconsciously. In addition, while audience may not always be passive, they may not always be active either, something the theory does not account for. Finally, some critics claim the use and gratification is too broad to be considered a theory and therefore should only be considered an approach to media research. Thank you.